Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mantalk.ke. Thanks for coming back every single week on the podcast and online. Thanks for sharing. Continue doing so that we grow. So we're here at Kofisi, our favorite place where we come to shoot, but also it's a co-working space. If you're an individual and you want to just come and use the common areas, there's great coffee, great aesthetics. Or if you're a company and you want to have a small office in a co-working space, that is an option too. All the rates are down below. There's a link as well, so you can check that out and you might bump into us when you're here. So we are very, very excited. This is an episode that's been a long time coming. We have a fantastic guest. As soon as you see him on camera, you'll understand who this person is. Very, very excited to have him here. Oscar, who's in the middle today, buddy? Who's in the middle?
Yet another fantastic introduction, Eli.
Well, can I be honest? That was my second take.
It was for the first time.
It never happens.
It never happens. On the right side, on my right side is the fantastic Brian Kimanzi, an illustrious, I think is what I'm going to use, content creator, bona fide gentleman, fantastic editor, and as you will now come to realize, there's a lot more to him than meets the eye. Welcome to set, Bwana Kimanzi. Welcome.
Thank you, Oscar.
How do you feel?
Thank you, Eli. Feel great. We've talked about this for how long?
It's been a while.
It's been months.
And you all told me about it separately. You should come. I'm like,
You're a busy guy.
Not busy. Yes, busy sometimes or all the time, but also being here feels like, for someone who's always been a backbencher the entire life in every aspect.
Okay.
This feels like, when you're in the front seat.
Yeah.
This is the front seat.
Supposed to be behind the camera, right?
You might feel like a backbencher, and maybe that's kind of the narrative you have in your head, but I feel like you're front and center of the content creation scene in not just Kenya, but across Africa.
That's
man. Like to see you in Qatar, there was a sense of pride. When I saw like you just making content and just being yourself. And I just wanted to let you know, man, we really appreciate the work that you do. The time you take to kind of, entertain us online.
Thank you very much.
The purpose of today is to get to know the person behind the incredible reels, the person behind some campaigns you don't even realize that Kimanzi's, but I see his handwriting sometimes behind some stuff. I'm like, I think this might be Brian. So we want to basically explore your journey. And whenever we're doing that with a guest, we like to start at the beginning because then it gives context as to the person they are now. So
hold on. Sorry to interrupt you.
What's up, buddy?
I think we should start at the beginning.
That's where I was going.
Which is which is Mr. Kimanzi. What is the best thing about yourself as a man?
Best thing about me.
About you. What do you, when you look at yourself as a man, what are you most grateful for?
You start deep. My God.
It gets way more shallow, trust me. By the end, hey, yo.
Wow. Come again
because it shocked you.
Yeah.
Give me the reasoning why we ask this question. There's a reason we always ask this question. Yeah.
The best thing. Sorry, I have a cough. What's the best thing about you becoming a man? And like, how do you celebrate your own manhood? How do you celebrate the fact that you're a man? And how do you think you contribute the most to society in your capacity as a man?
The first thing that came to my head when you asked, again, I feel like as a man, and my contributions is one, being very authentic to myself. I don't like presenting a false narrative, and I like what you see is what you get. And also I like, rather over time when told good vibes in any space you're in, whether it's formal, informal, relatives, friends. I guess we'll get to know more as we keep going.
Shout out to your authenticity.
And I've noticed that actually. I've never met you and it's been a bad vibe, to be fair, in different spaces. So I could definitely attest to that. Definitely can attest.
And you as I've come to find out, you're a fantastic storyteller, and I hope that like jumps out.
Just speak.
Don't
speak.
You notice there's a thread. You're very good friends with Victor, and Victor's also a very good storyteller. So it seems there's like a cohort of men that could just tell stories. So I can imagine when them Zez, the kind of stories I could tell.
But you two are also good storytellers. How long have you been this going?
I mean, true.
Fair
True.
Fair
We're okay.
We do fine.
We'll all sit by a tree.
You trying to be humble and modest. You're great, please.
We're doing relatively fine.
No, this modesty, nah.
It will kill us.
I remember, was it Trevor Noah and the Burna Boy interview? When they were talking about, Trevor was asking and telling Burna Boy, there's something about Nigerians that you don't say with East Africans and South Africans when, as a great artist, you're like, I'm laid back. The same thing you guys are doing. We're okay. We're doing quite fine. Then Burna is like, but why is it with Nigerians? You speak with your chest, you boast about, like, you're very confident in everything. You're like, when he was asked, he's like, why should I be modest?
Exactly.
I've done all this. Why should I?
Yeah, you've done the work.
So that's...
Yeah, this is true. Next year.
A lot of proof of work. So, and even in your spaces is how many people appreciate you outside this room. So you should also embrace it.
Own it. We'll own it.
Thank you. Now, Eli, please proceed with the question.
That kind of confidence, maybe it comes from childhood. Segue. So, like I mentioned earlier, we try to understand the person's upbringing so that when they're telling us about their motivations, their choices in career, their choice in women, which we'll get into, we think it always is attributed to how they were growing up and the spaces they were in, the people they interacted with. So we wanted to start with like context as to who you were growing up. Like what kind of kid were you? Where did you grow up? And what were your friendship groups and education?
In my long life, let me take it back. Yeah, but what you've
said in my long life.
what you've said just now, there's one thing over time, whoever you are today, you're always a product of your surroundings. So from whichever aspect in life you're in, from childhood and to the different phases you have in life, you're a product of everything you've accumulated over time.
Agreed.
Yeah. So in that same aspect, my childhood, do we start with day one or day zero?
Yeah. Do you remember day one?
Yeah, I've
from the moment I was birthed, and I stepped upon the earth, I always knew.
Cautiously, I don't remember, but I feel like my mom, if there was Instagram then, everything would have been documented because I have pictures from day one.
Serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was born in Othaya. It's in Nyeri. Stayed there. Well, now my mom was working in Othaya and our parents stayed in Nyeri. So I stayed there for 1 year as a baby. So that, of course, I don't remember. Pictures do tell the story. And then after that, I went. Now, my dad used to be a teacher in a very remote area in some place called Ukambani. Don't know if you guys know of Ukambani. It's just the Cumberland in general. Some very remote place called Mwala. Very tiny. I don't know if it has more than 1,000 people now. But so I relocated from one end, which is Nyeri, Othaya, to all the way to Mwala town in a very bedsitter apartment for my dad who was now starting life. And then after some time, we again moved to another area, which is Machakos. Now, most of my childhood has been in Machakos. When I talk of my childhood days, my days as a child, Machakos is what plays that part. Yeah, so in Machakos is when I remember of friendships, I remember of childhood. That's been it for me, from friends. And now because now both my parents were teachers, so we used to stay in the school where they were teaching, in the school premises. So even going to school, the first school you go to when you're 3, 4 is in those areas. What happened next? I'm trying to just jump into the important bits. Actually, I think because one, moving from Othaya to Mwala to Machakos, from a young age I was able to adapt to any surrounding.
Right.
I was able, even to date, my mom when growing used to tell me, I can throw you anywhere in the world and I wouldn't be worried about you because I've seen you as a child. You've never had a problem adapting to any surrounding you're taken to. So wherever I am, I'll just embrace it. So here we don't drink water, fine. We live without water. So here we eat this. This is what we'll do. So that helped me adapt to any space I'm in, even in my adult life. Wherever we are, I'm like, this is it. Then fine, we'll find a way around it. And this is Fast forward, even in school when I was in boarding in primary, guys used to complain about food. I'm like, what? Guys, you are serious? This food is bad. Oh, don't I have taste buds? I'm like, yeah. So yeah, that happened. Then I went to, now that's why I started kindergarten stroke nursery. For us, we used to call it nursery because Christ, there was no kindergarten for us. So
yeah.
I how many did, I think I went to 3 or 4 nursery schools, kindergartens. The first one, of course, near the school premises, where my mom, and then another time there are no phones, so it's nowhere near my mom's teachers and my dad. So they know I'm within the school environment. So in as much as I'm young, I won't get lost. And then I see, being the only child at that time, you're a first. No, by that time my bro had been born. But you just learn to take yourself to school. Even if you're taking, you learn to take yourself back. You just learn to do things on your own. After that, actually, I escaped that school. So the story is, when I went to that school, I don't know at what period, I didn't like it. So I transferred myself to another school.
How did you transfer yourself?
So the thing is, when I'm leaving home, that time there are no phones, there are no nothings. Okay, there is the landline. But when I left home, I go with a uniform for my first nursery. But I don't go to that school. Apparently, me and my friend had already orchestrated this plan that we are going to a different school.
So these are nursery, these are like 6-year-olds.
No. 6 is way beyond. That's like 3, 4.
Mastermind.
So we are finding a new school. I guess, when you are kids influence each other. So maybe now the cool kids were in that other school. We're like, no. That school is where we want to go to that school. This one, So we take ourselves to that school with the uniform from the first school. And for 2 days or 3, or I don't know the period, we are in that school. Every day I'm leaving, bye mom, bye. I go. By that time, they already let me go to school alone. I always come back. You're like a chicken. No matter how much you wander around, at the evening you'll be back home.
Please note that you're being raised by educators.
First, it's been
the irony.
Proper. So I leave, I go to that other school, and then because the disadvantage is because the nursery is within the school premises. So my parents are more like, they'll meet with the teacher. So they meet with the teacher. The teacher is like, hey, I've not seen your son in school for what's up? Wait, what? My son leaves home every morning to school. I prepare him, I dress him up to school. What do you mean you've never been to school? I may come back with my pretense that our school has been great. I got a beating. Then I'm told, then after that I'm like, no, I went to another school. It's not that I didn't go to school, by the way, guys. Relax.
You didn't skip classes.
I have not skipped any class. What I did is just that I went to a school that I found was cooler.
At 3.
I guess my parents, because of being educators, and also they were understanding.
After
these are things you don't know when you're a kid.
Understanding during, after?
You have to be scolded first because you are misbehaving. Notice that you're not in school. But now, when you come back, because they're understanding, they got me uniforms for that other school.
Yes.
And so I moved to that other school. And now things were rosy for a while. Now, school at that time when you're young, it's cool because of the kids. So whatever the teacher, I don't know, 3, 4. So whatever teachers are saying or doing, you don't really remember. But now when we are there with, now in that other school, now in my younger phase, I had very bad teeth. So I wouldn't eat like githeri or the hard kind of foods that you need to chew a lot.
So githeri for our international audience is a maize and beans meal. So you boil it. And so it's like relatively, I'd say it depends on how it's cooked. It's good. But sometimes it's not so good because it's like school food.
And have you ever had githeri?
Come on now. Kenyan household.
Yeah. Depending on how it's made.
But
So within that, during that time, now, again, this is my mom just teaching us soft life at a very young age, which you don't know for years now. So she used to, first, the things that I found awkward. First, I'm given a lunchbox, which is normal. She gets a lunchbox, puts for me rice and maybe stewed, I don't know, some soup, some meat. Like, that's what you eat at home anyway. So you don't see any. When I go to this other school, now when at that time it's.
How old were you at that time?
that time, at 3-4.
What? We're still at 3-4.
Yeah. So I go to this school. In this school now, it's a very, how will I put it? It's up country. So most people either just doing the githeri or mostly it's the githeri. And then what they carry to school, we used to carry these margarine tins, like for Blue Band or for oil, Kimbo. These are very old products. So kids used to be served. It's a very African thing to open the fridge and find maize or
the Blue Band
things in tins that are not the ice cream. You open
the ice cream tin.
So excited.
You're excited, you open, you just find beans.
Not again, Mom.
Actually, it was over time. You find this joke when you finally open the fridge and you open the ice cream tin and you find ice cream. You're like, what?
What's happening?
That's the shocker. Dairyland, London Dairy.
Yeah.
Ice cream. Oh my goodness.
Finish that thing straight away.
Yeah. So that is what now. Imagine most of the kids have these tins when I have a lunchbox. And now because now you see mine was because of a condition I didn't even know. That's just mom taking care of me. But now because kids always have githeri or ugali at home, so I'm coming to school with rice and meat, things people don't have. So in quick fashion, I become a kid's favorite. Because everyone wants a piece of meat, everyone wants rice, and have been brought up sharing is normal. So I'd be like, let's all eat together. So kids always flock in, you just enjoy. They don't even eat their food. Now the problem with that school, again, remember the kids I'm studying and with are cool, and we're all friends, we enjoy life. Go fast forward. Apparently the teacher had a problem with that. The teacher had a problem with me, one. Remember, backstory, when I mentioned my parents were teachers, they were not only teachers, but my dad was a deputy principal, and both were English teachers. So the only language we spoke growing up was English.
This man was walking into rural villages sounding like Shakespeare.
With meat and rice in his soup.
So you can imagine the communication with other kids. But either it's English or Swahili, trying here and there.
Were they speaking Kamba? If you don't
yes,
mind me
it was
asking?
full Kamba. No, but regardless, they like food, so language won't be such a problem.
Transcends all language.
Why are you doing the thing where like kids used to do, where you like butter what you came with and what I came with, or are you just the guy who came with like
I just used to come with it, and
it was an NGO. It was an NGO. It's an NGO. The whole school.
So but at least I used to understand it or try and speak Swahili, or if not, and when you're there with kids, I'm also narrating now stories from home. And by home, not our homestead, but now my grandparents. At that time, my grandparents used to travel, especially my grandfather used to travel to Europe. Now you see, for me, that's fascinating. I'm a kid. I'm like, you mean people enter planes and it's crazy. Now you see, as a kid, you don't know what to tell and not to tell. So you are there just telling kids about how your grandpa is on planes, your grandmother drives a car. Kids are like, wow, you're like there hearing the stories, like, damn. The teacher is there like, this kid is alive. First eating rice. Like he's special from everyone else.
It's a lunchbox.
Talking about his grandparents.
He's using adjectives I haven't taught him.
Talking about grandparents flying to Europe, driving cars. That doesn't make sense. Because now you see, we're in a country. When you talk about grandparents, they stay in the huts. They stay in spaces where they're not really cars exposed. Are not even anything. They're not exposed. So apparently she used to project her stuff onto me. And then she'd call my mom over. Like, your son is alive. Your son feels special. Again, remember now, at that time I didn't know, but now I came to understand how my mom took care of us and my parents in general. So my mom was like, you know what? Now these are things they tell you now when you are older and you understand life and stuff. It's like, at that point, I knew that school is not for you. If this is the person I'm going to live with a larger part of the day, I wouldn't want to live with someone so close-minded, someone who will or not expose you. This is the teacher. This is supposed to teach you as a kid. What you're taught growing up is what brings you up.
But that's so crazy because you've highlighted something in passing, how kind of the role of educators in kind of raising children and even like setting the barriers within their dreams. And like telling them you can be whatever you want to be. Because like, okay, fine, these are all children from up country. Here's a child that's different. You should allow that child to share that perspective and show the children that there is more to life than what they see.
True.
And maybe, I don't know, would you think that teacher felt a bit threatened?
No, I have no idea.
Because that's a story given to you.
Slowly, my mom was like, no, if this is where I'm going to leave you, you like this school, I understand, but this teacher is not progressive. This teacher doesn't want you to thrive in this space. Everything is an issue. Your lunchbox, you eating rice, you coming with fries to school, you telling lies according to...
up in school with fries.
No, you see, again, I didn't know back then. And you go with nice food, all kids, eat your food, you're like, this is okay. Anyway, so now, slowly, my mom says, you know what? Now, she was a teacher. Her basic salary was like 3,000 Kenyan shillings at the time. So she says... Now, again, when she explains it later, she says she decided, you know what, I'll take my kid to a school where he'll be able to be himself, tell these stories, be comfortable without being threatened, without feeling like he's been undermined. For a teacher with a basic salary of 3,000 shillings, there are not many options with that. Most of them are just public schools. She did all she could and took me to like now the posh school in the area. Now it was the poshest school in that time. You know, when you used to village schools, you don't even know they are good schools beyond where you study. So when we go, she tells me she's taking to school. I go to this school. First of all, everything looks so nice. And then even the uniform is pretty. Then remember I told you now, because my mom has documented most of my childhood. I have pictures of everything I'm talking about, even when I'm in the first nursery, second, running away, changing schools, now to this other one. Now in this school, everyone was from a family that communicates in English. So for their English is the only language people speak. Now you see the shift is this place. This place you'll talk about your grandpa using a plane in Europe, kids will be like, my grandpa too, or my dad too. They're like, again, I didn't realize it then, but it thinks now your parents want you to be in a space where you're yourself without feeling like people feel threatened by your stories. And that's how now that's why I finished my kindergarten in that school. And so it's so funny this year, because now you see, for some weird reason, I don't know why kindergarten teachers teach for like 40 years and never change. They're like, they'll teach. This year, my mom, when she was back in that town, she met with my kindergarten teacher.
Wow.
Now she eventually opened up her own, but she's still teaching kids. Like, that's such an interesting thing. And she gives... they're catching up. Oh, how are your kids right now? My son is doing this. My son is this. My son is this. Now the two of us now who studied there. And slowly they gave her... My mom gave her my number. And she told me about it. Oh, I gave Teacher Maggie your number. I'm like, hey, do I remember her? But Teacher Maggie is... you remember it.
No.
So anyway, she calls up. First, when I was in that school, when I tell you this school was posh, kids had napping hour.
Oh, wow.
Like, after lunch, it's napping time. So kids nap for like an hour.
Siesta.
And there's a napping room. But now, because me, I'm not used to this lifestyle and these things, I couldn't nap. So when kids are napping, I'm outside playing alone. I'm just doing my own stuff, or rather chilling with the teachers now. I'm going chilling with the teachers, telling stories as a kid. Now, because you're just there, a storyteller for God knows, I don't know why. Now, fast forward now, when Teacher Maggie called me like earlier this year, like mid year. Like, oh, hi, it's Teacher Maggie. I remember you from Riverview. I used to teach you. I'm like, yeah. I was told, yeah. How are you doing now? We catch up. She doesn't know what I do. She's just like, Now but there I don't know. Whatever she said on that phone call, I was, no, it can't be true. I'm sure you know of something, but now the way she's talking, I'm half sees. Then she's like, even when you used to teach, you used to be very creative. You used to do crazy things that we don't know, but we keep saying, whatever you're doing, you'll go far. Ooh. I'm there playing with, nice, again, back to this school. When I was in the previous schools, we used to play with clay. Clay is now, clay.
Yeah. Plasticine.
No, clay.
Like the actual clay.
The actual clay. Soil and water and this. But now in this school, we have plasticine. So now I was exposed to plasticine. I started making things as a kid. Now remember, kids are sleeping. So when kids are sleeping, this is the time I have to do when kids are awake, we play and do all these funny games. But when I'm alone, kids are sleeping, I'm under a tree in a corner just creating stuff for myself. No way. Then the teachers would come. I try to explain to them. They're like, hey, we don't understand this, but you see this, compare this teacher now to the one I was in the previous school. They're like, I don't know, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. Yeah, just be yourself. So now when we're on phone, she's like, used to be very creative. There are things she used to create. We'll be like, where did you learn that from? And we don't know. And then like,
my God,
he used to be he used to do crazy things that we wouldn't know, but we'd see this kid has potential, and the best we can do is just let him be.
Yeah.
So when she's telling me that, you used to be very creative, and I knew one day you'll do creative stuff. I'm like, are you sure you don't know what I do? Because I'm not sure you're like, this can't be true. You just can't be talking out of nowhere with such stories. Yeah. Then she tells me, Then I tell her, well, coincidentally, I'm in the creative industry. And that's what I do for a living. Like, you see, I'm not wrong. I used to say it from when you're a kid. Even my parents didn't say this, so I don't get how you saw it.
That is incredible.
I know.
Let me tell you, when you started with kindergarten, me and Eli gave each other a look for, okay, we're going
to... And we said he's a good storyteller.
Yeah, you're a really good storyteller because it's really, really gone like full circle now.
That makes so much sense though.
Yeah.
It makes so
much
sense.
And it kind of summarizes like your life experience even. In the sense that like you previously intimated to us that you were in law school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were on track to being a practicing lawyer.
Yeah.
Could you please, for the benefit of the audience, like also give us a narration as to how that piece of your journey kind of came about and how like you had to make a decision to be the person who you are today? Because I feel like it was a very important conversation that I really want to share on camera as well.
Yeah. My law experience and my law studies.
Yeah.
Let's see.
A little bit of career. Just a little bit of a career background.
Okay, so fast forward now in campus. Here we are, day one of law school. Excited.
Why did you make the decision to do law, by the way?
Remember, we're in an African society where your career options are 4. You either become a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, or a failure. You're not exposed to any other career.
Yeah.
Because I remember even back when primary overthrew, when kids say, we had all that face, what do you want to be when you grow up? Those were most of the answers, because that's the seed that's been planted in your mind by your society as you grow up. Yeah. So if you come up and say you want to be a policeman, you're a laughing stock. And I used to find it funny. I would be like, why are you castigating other careers over others? But
here we are.
So for me, I hate medicine, taking medicine, just being part of medicine. So I was like, of course, meds is out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm here like, I'm left with engineering and law. Do I want to, now you say me no engineers for fixing roads. I'm like, hey, do I want to do that? I'm like, hey, okay, fine. Since my option is limited, let me just focus on this one. And now you start, again, because people are planting the seed even as you grow, you already start seeing yourself as a career person, as a lawyer when you're young. You don't know it. You see, even when kids are growing up, you're like, this one will be a doctor. This one will be what? Those are the things that people do. And then you grow up thinking you want to be one, but it was planted over time by the society without you knowing. But now it's very cautious in your mind because of people around you. I guess it was the same for me. So here I am now studying law school. I go through law school. I also transferred myself in campus.
There seems to be a trait.
There's a
trait here, yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah, exactly. It's key.
So 3 kindergartens, 3 primary schools, 1 secondary, and 2 campus. Yeah. Again, remember adapting to any surrounding.
Exactly.
So yeah, now I started in JKUAT, Karen, and then went to Catholic University.
Yeah, you literally just crossed the road and walked down.
My friends were all in choir.
There it is.
Just full circle.
Yeah, just for context, guys. So the law schools, the law schools you went to, including the Kenya School of Law, one is across the road from the law school. So if you wanted to play basketball from the Kenya School of Law, you'd go and play at JKUAT Karen, or you'd go down the road and to the right, which is literally they're all 10 minutes, not even 10, like 5 minutes of each other. So like it's a triangle of schools.
There.
Yeah.
Everything. And I clearly spent quite some time in that area.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, anyway, so the reason I actually shifted when we did JKUAT the first year, went to long holiday. Now, for me, when I went to long holiday, now when you sit back and look at it, it's because for a long holiday meant 3 months out of school.
Yeah.
That means 3 months at home.
Yeah.
This is a kid who went to boarding at a very young age when I was in class 4 or 5. So for me, staying home, I've never felt like it's home. Because I'm there on for 2 days, 3 days back to school. So for me, being home for like a week, I'm like, God damn, why am I here? I feel like this is. Parents are here, family is here, but you're like, God, I'm used to being away from home for so long that I feel awkward being home for too long.
Yeah.
So I was like, no. And then I see by that time you are past teenagehood, so you also are doing things, going out, and those are not things you'll be comfortable doing when you're home, or you'll always be at lockerheads with your parents, different. I'm like, no, it's not a path I want, especially at this time, because now when you're in campus, you are a hard head. You're learning all these night outs, drinks. Is that the face is that what you want to show your parents? And if you start confronting with them, then when will it ever stop? Because you're not in campus for 2 weeks. You're in campus for a long period of time. So will this be the journey for the next 4 years? Like, let me just go look for a school where there's no long holidays, and I can be able to stay in school, do anything that I'll do there without feeling like I'm disrespecting my parents and their space. So now in Queer, we did law. But I remember I've never even said this. I remember even in third, you've done law. So the more you do it, the more now you start gelling and merging into what you want to practice. Then I remember in third year, I was like, is this the thing I want to do? But I'm like, anyway, I have 1 more year left. So let me just finish it. I'm not bad at it anyway. Okay, I've also been a bright student my entire life. So for me, it's like, I'm here. Let me just finish it, and I'm not about to drop out. The narratives around dropouts is crazy. I wouldn't be one, especially coming from a family of educators.
Yeah, true.
And being a firstborn.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And being a kid who's gone to the best schools in all spaces. There are many people who look up to you. So I wouldn't be that person to change the narrative. So yeah, I finished eventually. So when I finished law, I was like, okay, fine, it's done. But at that time now, my dad had moved countries, had gone to work abroad. Okay, not abroad. Malawi is not abroad. He had gone to work in Malawi.
It is abroad.
to us abroad is Europe and US.
The word I believe is using is Ulaya in Swahili.
Yeah. So anyway, when they moved to Malawi, funny enough, now when I was in campus, when we were finishing campus, I've done my law. It's done. At that time, it's done. Instagram had started being a platform where people would just post photos, do stuff. Then they introduced 15-second videos.
Yeah.
So when they introduced 15-second videos, I was like, all through my life I've been quote unquote a hilarious guy and a comedian. Anywhere you are from school, you're that mchongono guy, you're that drama guy, everyone's clubs. Yeah. So when Instagram came, in between campus 2010. Now that long holiday, actually, when I went to that long holiday, in between trying to find out what to do, is when I started working. And also when I started working, Abdul also wanted to act. This is just something I just felt watching programs on TV. I was like,
the creative bug.
I feel like I want to.
That creative instinct, kind of.
Yeah.
Wait. There's another story that's very important in my creative journey.
Let's go.
So when I'm in primary, back in Machakos, my dad's a teacher, had a side hustle. His side hustle was recording weddings. So he used to, over the weekends, he'd go. That's before this once on TV happened, wedding show, I don't know what. So he used to record weddings over the weekends.
Yeah.
And then because he has a tight schedule at school, record weddings on Saturday. He'd go to like 3 weddings, record. Sunday, if there's any event, receptions. And then at night is when he used to edit.
Right.
So when I'm young, I used to see that.
Yeah.
I found it so fascinating. First, the camera is nice. Looks, what is this machine? Then I see him sitting, editing. I'd sit through the entire night. Not talking, just there. Watch edits. And then I'd find it so amazing how I'd see a couple look down an eye. And then I see a nice R&B song. Sings to it. I'm like, what? This song is not from Kenya. This song I've heard and it's not local.
Always come in.
Listen to the songs. I'm like,
and I
exactly.
will always love
and like you're seeing them now walk down the aisle or putting the ring on the finger. Like, God damn.
And then he punches it in.
That close up.
My
goodness.
This is like transition. Scorsese.
This is so cool.
That's
but
crazy.
subconsciously, you know now what it's doing. Again, a product of your surroundings. Subconsciously, this thing I found cool is slowly planting its seed in my head. Like videography, editing. You're just like,
You're staying up at night as a kid.
Staying up and just watching it. You're not sleepy. Your mom is like, go sleep. Like, my dad is like, go sleep. I'm like, it's okay. Then I watch it. Then, of course, now he used to practice. Now, because again, in the side hustle, he converted our backyard to a quote-unquote studio. So he used to do interviews for people going to study in Britain. So he'd record them. And then they go to say, my parents have hustled because that time. And then after that, they opened a phone shop. Then they opened a cyber. Things were just lining up themselves.
They were very experimentational.
I guess that's where I get it from. So when they opened the studio, I'd wake up and go to the studio just to chill and still there and just look at the camera to see how it works. Now I used to go before my dad when he's in school or when he's not around so that I can play around with it before he comes. At that kid, you don't know what you're doing, but it's
enjoying
it. So I used to watch. And then now when he's done with the interviews with guys, we'd play around, me and my bro, climb trees, he's recording us. Again, remember I told you, all this footage is documented.
It's all making sense.
So everything is there. And then we're like, this thing is cool. There's education, yes, but I like this.
But like I feel like for you, film isn't just a part of like a business. It's also a part of like joy in the home. There's a joy in the home. It's like you're seeing your brother climb the trees. You're seeing yourself as a kindergarten with the stories. You're seeing yourself. Your mother is giving you context as to how you've lived your life based off of the footage you've been taking. And like you're able to even share that journey with us simply because of the fact that they documented that experience. This is not something that happens in most African homes.
True. Because now my parents were all about expose your kids from a young age as much as you can
to everything.
And that's the thing I even tell friends who have kids. Exposure is very key. You wouldn't know it now, but how they grow up here and what they see, it's very important in the future. For now, it's kids might find it nagging, might find it uncomfortable, but if you just let them, if they find joy in something, let them express themselves in whatever they find joy in. Exactly. And it will be it will play a big role in their upbringing. So now for me, again, now I'm enjoying this thing. I'm saying it. Now fast forward, now we're back in law school.
Yeah.
So again, at law school, now you see now you have people with cameras, or rather phones. Then I'm like, now towards the end of my law, then now we are with Instagram, the 15-second thing. I'm like, I think I have this funny comedic stories I want to. That time, I don't know if you were Vines. Remember Vines?
Vines, yeah.
So I used to watch Vines from people's phones. I didn't have phones with that capability. And then I'd be like, these are, because they were mostly American, the King Batch and the likes. I can relate with this story, but would it be cooler if we told them in our own context? Yeah. The African mom, the matatus, just our everyday stories. Yeah. And then we also, over time growing, we had Ridiculous, we had those Red Corner, all these comedic shows, but now they're died down.
Actually, there was a phase where they started to disappear.
So at that point, I'm like, I want to just, I have this bone in me, like, tells me, just tell the stories. Like, is that what you want to do? Do it. Yeah. Now back to my acting now, that long period when I started going to acting classes, I remember they were like 3,000 shillings. I don't know why 3,000 is very... Keeps coming. They were 3,000 shillings. Before I forgot in between when I said my mom's salary was 3,000 shillings. Yeah. The school fees on the school she took me was 4,200.
Huh. How does that work?
So she had to borrow money so that I study.
Right.
That's the thing she tells you later, and I'm like, fuck, Mom, you took a loan? Yeah, but it's been fruitful. It's the sacrifices they made that have put us in this space where we are today, because through that is what now we've been able to grow. Yeah. Because even my brothers all went now to good schools. For them, again, as educators, education is key. Yeah. And just not any education, good education. Yeah. And we'd rather spend a dime. We'd rather sleep hungry as parents as long as our kids go to the best schools. Yeah. Because, in those best schools, they'll meet people who will expose them to different avenues in life. Yeah. Because I remember now in boarding, I met a Tanzanian, and I'm like, what? Are there no schools in Tanzania? Why are you studying in Kenya? That's like in class 4 or 3. Now you're, because now they're able to show you, like, school will also open you up to different people. At home, the home setting is good. But even in school, you'll get to see the world through other people. You don't need to travel as much. Now you see, when you're young, you get an affinity towards TZ because your friend is Tanzanian. Yeah. You get an affinity towards the South African because this guy is the parents are in SA. You get kids telling you different spaces in the world. Oh, we travel to Scotland. You're there on an atlas looking at Scotland. They create this mental picture of Scotland. Yeah.
You've taken me all the way back to primary, because like, a lot of people who are listening to this probably don't know what an atlas actually is. So for those who are watching, in Kenya, one of the, especially 844 education, it's no longer there. Yeah. I think it's competence-based learning now.
Yes.
We used to be asked when you hit, I think it was class 3, to always buy an atlas. So an atlas is basically a geography book that has all the world maps, and you could turn through it to see all these different places at very, 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 with I'd say a high, all these maps are at a high level of accuracy. Yes. So as kids, if you don't know a place, you'd have to pull out your atlas and turn and say, the capital city of Scotland is Glasgow. Yeah. Or there's a city there called Edinburgh, but it's confusing. So we used to play those games growing up, so that you could...
We even had these games where you tie a piece of small paper, close your eyes, and throw it to the atlas. So wherever it lands,
you can.
That's where you'll be destined to go. So it lands in Japan. You're like,
I must go.
I need now to know about Japan. It lands here. Now we had this. Now you creating all these different
games,
these games, and now mental picture. Because now you see now through that time you're getting a mental picture of every different aspect in life. Yeah. So this one was connecting to that I've even forgotten. The stories are getting...
Yeah.
Where were we at this point?
You're saying how basically your mom had exposed
Oh,
you
yeah.
to
Now we get now to the
The
3,000
TZ
shillings in acting.
Yeah.
At that time, 3,000 was a lot because when even in campus, the money that I used to get wasn't equivalent to that, and I have to live every day. That's the first time I dropped out of school because I couldn't afford the 3,000 shillings. But now that's a school, it's only my interest. It's not in the interest of anyone else. My mom tried to help,
school, right?
but when she could. And it's not, don't need to bug her. So it's when she could. Actually, some of the people I studied with have gone on to become great anchors and great movie stars from then, from those classes. But now I couldn't go on because, again, education is key in our family. So we focus on what took you to school, not these other gimmicks you're trying. So anyway, now I have this platform because I couldn't do it when I was in younger age or earlier. So now I have this platform where I can just be me. I can just create this acting for me. I'm my own director. Because I'm already used to you don't know you're used to filming, but you just do it because you're like, So again, I tell my friend, close friend, guy, I have this idea. Follow me. I go do this. Just record me. At that time, remember, even phones don't have apps where you can download and edit. Or rather, the ones that have, are hella expensive.
Yeah.
So I used to go. My friend records me doing something. Then I go and get another phone, download another friend's phone, download the app, transfer that. And now you see I'm doing this thing so fast because my friends have to go home. I'm not about to keep them here the entire time.
Yeah, just for a video,
Yeah, I edit, I post, and now they go home with their apps, with their Instagram. I don't have Instagram, so I don't even know what's happening.
The next day.
The question I have. Memory in the phones. How did you still manage that?
Now you see, I have to upload immediately. Then if it's, then they can delete.
Okay.
Yeah. So I may just upload. I go to my shelter and stay until the next time we meet. Until we meet, I log in. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Doing well,
No, guy, I have 4 likes. Winning. 4 people have liked this. 4 people enjoy this. I'm like, at least.
For context, how many likes did you get in your last post this week?
5,000.
There we go.
There we go.
Things change.
Things change.
You see. Life is a journey. But no, see, I used to find joy even in those ones. But then that time, Instagram, if you get more than 10 likes, you're a celebrity.
So those days,
like, so now I started. Now you see, when we're in campus and law school, now that in studying law, we don't have that much a lot of things to do. So in that time is when you create, you post, you go. Then it's just finding people when you're out. Oh, I liked your video.
Yeah.
You watched. Now that time you're trying to do a lot of things. So that time, that's now I finished undergrad. But just finished. Then at that time is when my parents are moving to Malawi. I wasn't even staying with them, remember, I'm not used to that. So my parents tells me we have to relocate. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I've just started my quote-unquote career. People are enjoying what I do.
I've got 10 likes.
And of course, I can't tell them at home I do comedy. I'm a lawyer. So I'm trying. Now, how am I going to... We entered a scuffle with my parent. My dad were like, no, you have to come. If you don't, find a way to live in Kenya alone.
Right.
And with whatever you have. I'm like, God damn it, I don't even have a career. What am I doing here? I have no rent.
Yeah.
Because that time he used to send me at least some money to top up. But now I'm like, oh, damn it. Now how am I going to... And by that time, actually, interestingly, I'd started influencing.
Right.
That's now 2014, 13.
Yeah.
But now that was on Twitter.
Right.
And Instagram, it hadn't even become a thing because I started influencing when I was in campus. Again, you're just there tweeting, banter, jokes with people, engaging with people. Someone just calls you, hi, or they DM you, they tell you, can we have a business proposal? Can we do that? They said, can we give you 2,000 shillings to tweet for us for X amount of tweets? Like, hey, I didn't even have that 2,000, so and I'm not even moving from my bed. Bring it on. I do it, I get my money. I'm like, you mean there's some money somewhere that I had not thought about? So I get it, I enjoy it. Then fast forward, now we get to now when the agencies started calling, they're like, hey, what's up? We have this campaign for a month. We'd want to engage you in what and what. We're like, okay. How much? The fee they mentioned at that time is not money I'd been exposed to.
Right, okay.
Are you for real? Yeah, I'm like, you sign a contract. I'm like, wow, this thing is serious. Again, for me, contracts, studying law, like, I read it. Now that time, you're like, even the things you didn't read in class, you're like, force majeure, this one.
In the event of an earthquake, I will still shoot this contract.
Now that time, it's not even shooting, it's just tweeting. On Instagram, I was just creating videos. On Twitter now, I'm like, there's this platform that allows us to. So we enter the campaign, we start the campaign. And that time, I'm just, with the words of my mom from way back, she's telling me, no, of course, out of excitement, I'm like, hi, mom, this is ABC that's happening. I'm getting something here. I don't know if you understand, but don't worry, it's nothing wrong.
Timelines, are they in Malawi when you start to make money on Twitter?
No. That time they were still here.
Still here. So, okay, so the money's starting to come.
Okay. So I explained, and she's like, what is it? Does it entail? I try to explain because I don't even know fully. But I remember one thing she said that I kept to date. Just put in 100%, no matter what. Just give it your best. I'm like, fine, I do it. I'm here there. I give it my best. I remember now when the money was about to be released to us, they told us we need to, because they're doing it via bank. No, check. We need a bank account. Young boy never had a bank account. A KRA pin. I'm like, whoa.
This is really serious.
I ran very fast to the nearest bank. Opened up an account with my little money at that time before now the other money comes. I'm like, now I have a bank account. For some, you just feel proud you have a bank account. Even if it has zero, you're like, this is fine. At least I have a bank account. Even if I die, it will be there. I passed away, my bank account had 0 shillings. Then you do care. You know, all the things you need to do before you get paid. I think I picked that check and stayed with it for a day first. I'm like, okay. Then I went, deposited it in the bank. Now that time is when now you're looking at it, you're doing everything, you deposit. Now through that money is what now I was able to stay. Now I'm 4th year, almost finishing. So now I've even moved to an apartment. Not an apartment, just somewhere it's better than living in school, near school. And you at least, so with that money now, then
so off of influencing while doing law school at the same time, you're able to like pay rent.
Not fully pay,
but
at least you had money, and then now the top-ups.
You could transfer at least, you could balance it.
Because that time I had a housemate. Now we're living now in Langata. Yeah, so when you're living in Langata now with my housemate, now I decided, you know what, let's get a 2-bedroom. We pay for your share.
I pay for mine.
So now we're able to consolidate.
And your dad also like was helping.
Now that time now my family is just at least pushing at least just some little money.
Yeah, so you managed to
you
stabilize.
Now you're the guy with an apartment in Langata in school.
You're so cool.
Parties.
And then on top of that, you're the guy on Twitter who's making noise.
Now that time now it's not even noise, but so that happened. So now when they're moving, it's like, yo, I'm cutting. It's either you live with me or I cut you off.
And so the Langata dream just...
Then I'm there again, being a hardhead. I'm like, do it. No, and you start getting some small money.
We've got a bank account, Dad.
Nah, listen.
I get
this
these checks.
is fresh.
Do it. I'll find a way to get money. He did it.
How was that?
He called his bluff.
He did it. And and I was like, I'll do it. I'll stay along. I'll live here and do this thing. It has no way it's going, but it's giving me joy. It's not that it has a future. But I'm finding purpose in doing something. I'm like, let me do it. So I will stay back, do it, enjoy life. It gets to a point now that you have to come. Right? No, why? Why am I going to another country to do what? I like it here. This is where I have people, I have a purpose. I'm like, you're doing nothing there. Again, I can't tell them I'm doing comedy or I'm doing social media influencing because they'll be like, those are small things. Anyway, through pull and push, I traveled. Now I went to Malawi.
I feel bad for your housemate.
No, actually, what happened? What happened actually? he left first. He had to go back to Coast.
Oh, okay.
So when he went, I'm like,
no, that was the real reason.
You see, that was
the real reason.
No. I was still like adamant. Yeah. I'll move to a smaller space.
Oh, okay.
I'll just stay, and I'll still find something to do. Now with me, I've never found it a problem to find a way to live.
The adaptation came through again.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever the cost. And now all through this life, all these stories, all these things, I've also had many rock bottoms. And now you see, there's no measure to rock bottom. It can be on first floor, it can be on ground, it can be a basement.
It's just still bottom.
So it's still bottom. Wherever it is, there's no measure to rock bottom. So I'm like, I've lived without money. I've lived with a few. I've lived with at that time what I could. But I'm like,
survived.
How worse can it get?
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
Yeah.
If it's sleep, I'll sleep. If it's food, I'll find a way. I'll go. Because we're not doing hunting. I wouldn't like, again, my mom used to tell me, no matter where you are, I know you'll survive.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this isn't a bother to me. But anyway, now because of my dad's strictness and my mom's being, warm, you're like, now,
you're hot and cold now.
Yeah.
And then my brothers are there. I'm just the rebel son who's refusing. But anyway, I go. So when I'm there, of course, this country was very interesting. Now this is in 2015.
In Malawi?
Yeah.
What was your first week like?
At home.
Wait,
where are you going?
Had you finished studying at this point?
No, at that point I had finished. That was like...
So that's why you wanted to come after education? You wanted to come.
Did you do KSL at that point?
No, at that point I've just done
the undergrad. Yeah.
I've finished, but I'm like, now the reason I'm also staying back and quote unquote excuse, I'm yet to graduate. So I need to graduate fast. It's like, no, that's, you staying there is not graduating. You come. Anyway, I'm like, okay, anyway, finally give in, I go. Again, you're a rebel. You're locking yourself in a room. You're like, I'll be here, but you never see me, guys.
Yeah.
And then I remember now, at that time, now I'm like, now I have to use my brothers to record me, and they don't even know what I do. I'm like, and then I'm a firstborn, so I'm like, I look silly in front of these guys doing comedy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I hear that.
So now slowly now you see, at that point you even take nowadays I see people post, I'm on a social media break. That time you just take a forceful break. And I tried keeping up. I'll do whenever I get, and then now that country the network is bad. Internet, there's no internet. And if it's hella expensive. And even that expensive one is not good enough. So you'd shoot and upload and it refuses.
Yeah. Did you have clients that were waiting for
No, I
uploads?
remember that time even IG is not a thing for clients. It's still ripe. It's still young. But on Twitter, you can tweet from anywhere.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
But now the disadvantage came in when people call you, your number, it's not going through, and also you can't be available for meetings. No, you may lose out on one or two things, but you still try and find a way to. Even when you're tweeting like you're in Kenya.
Yeah.
You're very in touch with Kenyan politics, Kenyan affairs as well.
Yeah. So you're just there tweeting like you see people there was a concert yesterday. You're just there blending in it. You'd rather blend in it so
the
that
ticket prices yesterday were so expensive.
So
it's made in Malawi.
So you're able to be present online,
relevant.
But for the purpose of just trying to show that you're around, no matter what is happening. Not many people knew I was there for a year.
That was a whole year.
Yeah. Anyway, so
a whole year of fake Koroga festivals.
Wow. Now you see, after some time, now you get lost in that country.
I enjoyed blankets and wine profusely.
What a performance!
What a performance! Is that a Willow Longomba?
Yeah, but eventually now, but now when we were there, like, you know what? Let me. Okay, at that time now, again, I started filming.
Yeah,
it's now what I was very focused on. So through some way, I don't know what happened. I ended up working in a TV station. That's there. And then now when I went to that TV, again, at least there are cameras. There are things I can be comfortable around. So when I went to that TV station, because they don't even know what I do, I can't explain what I do. I'll just sit there, watch how people are doing stuff, and then slowly go and try and explain to people what can be implemented, what can not be, does this work? And slowly started being a director without knowing.
Oh, wow.
People are telling you, come, there's a way you showed us to do this thing yesterday. So I'm like, now you see you're curating the programs. This is sports. For sports, we need to do this. For music, we need this. As a host for a music show, you need to come dressed like someone who's very lifestyle oriented. For sports, you can even dress as a referee. You can do this. Just blend in with whatever you're working out.
Was this instinct? Was this instinct, or had you gone and like looked at things and come back with info?
No, by instinct.
Just instincts, yeah.
By sitting there and just seeing how people do things, you just share what you think can work. People listen, they do. Then now slowly but slowly you become a big part in the station every time. So at this time, I had studied law, remember? And I have these parents who, whatever you study is what you work towards. So this time they come and tell me there's a position for a legal some things. I don't remember what it is. There's a legal something at UN Women where you need, but there's no pay. I'm like, I'm getting paid somewhere else, so it's okay. There's some money coming in from somewhere. I am not worried. But then I'm like, and then growing up with such parents who like gain experience as much as you can at a young age, like I'll do it. Do I have an option anyway?
Yeah, true.
I'm there. So I go start doing legal, because now it was UN Women and they had to do these GBV things. Like they had a lot of GBV documents, a lot of books, things that they needed to be done, legal proceedings. So now because you're sitting there and you studied law, things are very familiar with you. So at that time, I'm doing them. But then sitting on a desk from 8 to 5 felt like too much work. Like I have to go sit, pretend, and work the entire day. I don't pretend. No, because I trust everyone in an office that they don't work 8 to 5.
Sure.
They have an hour. They zone out YouTube programs, shows somewhere, or unless you have meetings all day, that happens. But then I was like, it's what I had to do, but I was like, I'll do it. I'd read all the documents. I'd do edits. I know you're reading physical books and now finding citations, doing them, going and saying, looking at this, like now because it's UN Women and it had a lot of GBV cases, so you have to go look whatever has been happening to this couple, what citations will help the woman, how will they come out of this marriage. So now you get a bulk of things to do, read and help them.
The question I have, sorry to interrupt, but the context is Lilongwe, it's Malawi, right?
Yes.
So how was there any difficulty in marrying the legal context of what it is you're trying to do at UN Women? Because you can find that maybe the legal you can find that the legal proceedings are different. You can find that let's say even the cultural context of, let's say,
cultural context indeed was very different. But now you see, I'm reading their books, their constitution, their stuff. It's not like I'm...
So it was a transferable skill, basically.
Yeah. Law is transferable in many spaces, especially we've done with the British system.
Yeah, because common law.
Yeah, it's common law. So I used to now mine is just to read, do citations, and then at UN Women I was able to work again with a lot of international colleagues, people from Italy, people from Australia, people from, and also Malawians. And then I'd now go give them, these are the citations, these are what. Me, I'm just there working I'm here to do what I'm being told to do. But then in between that, now people go to the field, because now these cases, they have to go to field, get reports, come back again. Who's going to read everything, summarize, and I do. Then that happens, they come, they do it. When I'm reading the cases, remember, I'm someone who's been brought up in a lifestyle where you document a lot, especially with pictures or videos. So when I'm there and then I'm looking at them, I'm like, this story is fine, but the documents are too pale. They look boring. No one is going to read first 5 pages of just documentation like a novel. This is not a novel. These are real life situations. But it worked for the office. Because it's a UN office, they have equipment. They have cameras, they have microphones, they have stuff. I'm like, these things are never used. I go to the boss. She was very Alice. I don't know, she transferred, she became someone big in Costa Rica, I think. So I go to her, I tell her, oh, hi, is it possible in the next trip? Now remember, there's no pay, right?
Yeah.
But when you go on field work, you get per diem regardless. So I'm like, the reason I want to go out is to get that per diem. And I look at the per diem at that time, it was like $200 a day.
Nice.
So for me, I need to go out for a week.
Yeah.
That will compensate me even for monthly. I mean, it would work for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now when I say those, I find opportunities too. Like, I also need to be in the field. Just at least I get. First, I remember I don't like being behind the desk as much, but I also like it being, even when that's fast forward. So I'm like, there are these cameras. Can I just go to the field with your people and then I document them, and so that we're able to get better meat in the end product in the reports, because these reports now even shown now to the general UN. I'm like okay, they are like, okay, you go do whatever you can and we see. So of course now you have to prove yourself. That's been me practically my entire life. So I go out when people are doing narrations, people, because I don't understand the language. Mine was just to
of course,
to shoot. But then when I'm shooting, I'm also getting a lot of content, and then I'm telling them, I go tell people, ask them this, let them, when you're doing it with white people who can make people not. And then now the kids look at me assuming I'm one of them. I'm like, God damn it, oh my God. But I just try and do anything. So when I do. I go back. Now I have footage, I have videos, I have pictures. Then I'm like back in the office. The documents. Now I have documents I'm going to type. And then now I'm like, how will I put these pictures here? How am I going to match the two from a document? So I write the documents. Then I call, again, my hustler parents used to do magazines for schools.
Another thing.
Yeah. So for me, magazines were something I used to see every day. So I'm like, I want to convert this document to a magazine. So I go ask my mom, remember those connects of yours who used to do magazines? Can you help me with them? I have some things I'd like to try out. They give me, we communicate on email. Yeah, sure. Send me the documentation, send me the pictures. I send now to Kenya. The guy does the magazine now with the full cover, the pictures inside. I tell him where each picture goes. He has all the writings. I put everything anywhere. He does for me a magazine. He sends it back. Like after 2 days. Now you see that time I'm being told, where's the report? I'm like, guys, give me some little time. I'm trying. I'm like, okay. He sends it back via email. I go to the city and print it out to a magazine. So I take it to the boss.
Innovation.
Like, here's it. She's like, I'm telling you, this is the last report. She was so amazed. She'd never seen that happen in that country. She's like, from today onwards, you're done behind the desk. This is what we want in the office. This is now how you're going to do things. You need to be out there, capture these stories. I'm like, hey, PDMs. I'm done with this office. Yeah, but now you see how cameras have come through even 100%. In ways that you didn't expect.
Content actually changes a lot, because I think even my professional experience, one of the things I'm doing at Queen Mary is I'm part of the team that's running the podcast project in school. So we're trying to capture like legal stories as well, and to kind of shine a light on that and to highlight how content can be, instead of just writing articles, content can actually be used to educate in a much more interactive and elaborate way, rather than just like writing articles that will, by the end of the day, you'll read like 2 or 3 paragraphs and just throw it away, instead of hearing, like listening to the stories that everyone has. So you're right, content does actually in essence complement. I think it's a skill that you have to have moving forward if you want to have like serious career advancement.
100%.
So and that's how I ended up in the field and did that. But when I was still there, now by that time, I quote unquote have almost a job now that will be permanent. But now it's in between law and that. So I have 2 already. So I'm like, but I don't want to stay here. For me, I don't feel like this. I knew I'd be here, but then I start plotting. I need to go back to Kenya.
Yeah.
So I go back. I'm like, I didn't do law. I need to do my law school.
Yeah.
And I tell my parents I need to go back and do my diploma for KSL, Kenya School of Law. Anyway, we sit down and then that happens. So I come back to Kenya. Since I knew that would be my ticket back to Kenya in the most sensible way, regardless of whether I do it or not, but I have to do it now. And now start here. So I came back, did my KSL, then the pupillage, did pupillage for, again, that's now 2016 KSL, 2017. Pupillage, now then I do pupillage.
So 2015 was UN Women, 2016 was KSL, 2017 was pupillage.
Yes.
Okay.
So now I do pupillage. I get, again, when I start going, when you're as a pupil, when you're sent to law, to school, to the courts, I used to find it amazing to hear stories of people, and then I go back, read the cases, even from different cases. When you're sitting there, again, the backbencher, I'm just sit there, listen to this guy, a lawyer holding brief, a lawyer explaining this case, there's a hearing for this. I get all these stories. I hear cases, not the cases our firm has, but even from others, I hear an interesting case. I just go and look at, if I was that lawyer, and learning from what the lawyer was saying, I'll go back and just read about it. Just gathering.
Litigation can be fun in the sense that you get exposed to a lot of different legal situations and cultural and political situations and economic situations, of course, in a very quick and rapid way.
And then as a lawyer, you want to be the best.
Exactly.
You want to emulate the greats in our country. The Ngatias,
the Ohagas.
You just want to be those, and then law is a serious career in this country. But then I'm like, so when I do it, and then after that, I'm like, is this what I really feel like works for me? Again, I'm like, and then I'm not that person who, because it doesn't work, I like just decide to be resilient and like, I'll stick to it until it works. So I'm like, now I need a plan to leave this thing. But then where am I going to?
How's your Twitter, by the way, at this point? Are you still?
It's pretty well. Things are going. That one has just always been.
It's still going in the background.
It's like when you have a farm that just plant and things. You're never worried. It will always.
It's a part of life now.
Exactly.
So even at people, when you're people, you don't even pay a lot. So you just have to do with what is given. And then again, when I'm there, I'm looking at the senior levels. I talk to them how much they're getting paid. Now after some time when you're a pupil and you hear how much they're paid, I'm like, you've been practicing at this firm for how long? 5 years? And now you're earning how much? I'm like, sorry, what?
Let's should we talk a little bit about that?
It's a nerve. I've seen it happen in many.
Should we talk a little bit about how the creative industry would actually be outperforming the legal industry in terms of pay and age?
It depends. It depends with the levels, but no. Let's leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that. Let's stop there.
It touches nerves.
It does.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm sitting in the same office, getting a little pay here, but on the side I'm getting equivalent to what you do in 5 years.
Just say that again, just for the benefit of the audience.
No, so I look at the people who have practiced and are here as associates, working for 5 years. I'm there as a people, but when I look at what I get and what you get for your pay, we are matching. So I'm like, I don't think I want to be in this same basic for. Like I'm looking at it at a 5-year level. If I stay here for 5, this is what I will be getting. But this is what I'm getting now.
Imagine off of tweets. So
I'm like, do I really? Another time, remember also Instagram now is in play. Instagram has now been starting doing this. So the issue was finding time to do Instagram because you're always in the law office and the weekends you're tired. You don't even know what you can do. Hey, so you get there, you're like, oh, God damn it, will I stay here? I'm like, you know what? Funny enough, now a friend of mine called me. Like, but there's someone, there's this guy, creative director in an advertising agency who has been looking for you. I'm like, I don't know. Who? They give me the number. So that time I started moving away from it. I'm like, okay, it's my career, but let me just. And I have this advice for people in the young: try everything you can
100%.
When you have the opportunity. If it works out, well and good. If it doesn't, it didn't. But it's not for lack of trying. It's because of other things, but you never know what trying does and helps you out. I'm like, okay, let me just try. So they call. Of course, now you see, I've always had this I've been doing advertising on Twitter. I've just been unconsciously. It's been around me for life.
Yeah.
So that happens. This creative director calls. They're like, could we have a sit down? And then they work in one of the biggest agencies at that time, Scanad.
At that time or today?
There are others that have come up, but it's still one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Calls me, tells me, oh, hi. They say, I work, I go to the office first. Remember, I'm from a career where suits, even you were in all these spaces.
And you were in litigation, so that means it's very strict.
I go to this office, I enter, everyone is in casual. And I've gone with my suit. So it's very confusing.
Yeah.
But then I go there, we sit, I'm like, oh, this place is cool, the environment is cool. I'm like, this is so laid back.
Yeah.
This would be cool. We have a sit down, we talk, I explain my situation. I did privilege, this is where I'm at, this is what's happening. Then KSL, it's not that I have an advertising background. But he explains to me, I've been looking for you for a year.
Wow.
Which is this? When I was in Malawi. When I'm not being accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to look for you from way back, from the video you used to do on Instagram. The way you tell stories, I'd want you to come and share that with us here. And be able to work for brands, with brands, and give us a point of view from your storytelling. And then I'm like, hey, I've never thought of it this way, but I've had that working thing. So I'm like, let's give it a try. If it happens, if it works, no. If it doesn't, I'll just go back to law and do it.
Yeah.
So when we're there, so when now I entered, I started as, remember I've done, you were an intern, but I used to get paid. I've also done an internship in between. That's my need to do as an intern first. I'm like, another internship.
Yeah.
But I'll take it. Yeah, so we start. I didn't even understand it completely, but there's this thing I always wanted to do. I'm this person who always wants to know the behind the scenes.
Right, yeah.
I want to, by the time we have this outlook or outward appearance, I want to know what goes in behind.
Yeah.
Because one, for behind the scenes is where you have all the stories, all the meat for anything. You see, you like a car. You see a car, you like it for its physical outlook.
Yeah.
But you only experience it when you start driving it. So now you know this car is a nice car, not just because of looks, but of its performance, of everything.
Yeah.
You like a person by how they look, physical attraction, but you get to experience them as humans when you interact with them.
Yeah.
So that's how I approach everything. I like, this is it on the outside, but what is on the inside? When I see a billboard, I'm like, okay, it got there, but how? When I see an advert, it got there, but how?
Yeah.
Little throwback when you talk of adverts. So when I was young, even now, this is before even kindergarten and my shenanigans. My mom tells me this thing. There's a time when I was a kid, either 2 or 1. My uncle was called for an advert for Jogo, the maize flour.
The maize flour.
And he was to be, the commercials back then were family things, a baby. So because he knows of me as a kid and we look kind of like he's my uncle, he's my mom's younger bro, I was chosen as the son in this commercial.
So you're in a Jogo ad somewhere?
No. So when I got there, I cried so much I couldn't stay away from my parents. I'm young. So that's how it slipped away. So I'm like,
your first gig.
This man could scheme his way out of nursery.
So I'm like, God damn it. Now that's how I lost my first advertising gig. I was like, baby, unconsciously, I'm going to make it up in this advertising world, regardless.
The villain story.
I'm going to make it up for that time that I lost. Maybe, when you start off when you're young, your life changes. You're this screen darling. So maybe my life would have been different.
Everything went the way it was supposed to be. No.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to reel the conversation in, just in the interest of time.
Oh yes.
I wanted us to just a few touch points, because now you've shown us how you transitioned into Scanad. Could you very briefly just summarize how you moved from Scanad to content creation, and the lessons you bring between those two things. It's what we can now finally move on to the final segment.
So it's true. Yeah. So while we are doing, when now I'm in advertising, the one thing, because now you're doing it from the inside. Before, you've seen commercials all through. You've seen all this TV, print. So now you learn the mechanics of advertising. By the time this product is on screen, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. When I see this, there's a lot that goes everywhere. And then what I figured in life, our entire life is a behind the scene for a moment in life. You're in primary school for 8 years. That's your behind the scene for KCPE. You are in high school for a period of time. That's the behind the scenes for your national exams. You're in law school for one. When you admitted to the bar, that's the main occasion. But the behind the scenes is all the late nights you took. You see all the hard work that goes behind. But now I want to see it and be in depth in it to understand it. So in the process, I came to learn. Now you see, even now influencing has now become a thing. So even when you do decks, when you do presentations, we have this part. And now, because influence is something I put a little more interest in it. Okay, fine. This is the brief. This is the idea that comes after it. But now the idea has to transcend from top to bottom. And now everything else is orchestrated. The TV commercial is done professionally. The radio ads are done professionally. Everything, the billboards. But when it comes to influencers, you just pick people, whether for numbers or for what you think they can do. But do they pass the communication that was top to bottom? So at that point, you're like, there's something missing. There's loss in communication. If people are selling this product online, are they doing it in the way that the client saw it from the top? And then how people are doing it, I'm like, people are not, it's not being done in a way that sells the entire story. Because now you see, I know the pain that goes behind the late nights, the hours, the value that's been, the money that's been put. I'm like, if this would reflect in content, in influencing stuff, it would be great. It would be something that would be very, like, there's a connection. You're able to pass down the message to the last consumer.
Exactly.
So that happens. Now I start saying, I feel like there's this need. I see people do it. I see people do it in a way that doesn't fully complete the story. So I'm like, I need to just, because again, I've been shooting. So for me, shooting is not a problem, but they have these ideas that I want to also, I have my own way of seeing things, which funny enough, when I was in the agency, when I present them, they are turned down. Because they don't meet, I don't know. When they're turned down, they're turned down. The industries are no. You take more no's than yes. So it's another day, another no. So I'm now, fast forward now, when we get to COVID, 2020 now, that time now, when you're in advertising, there are a lot of hours in office. You'd work till late night and early morning. So you'd never have time for yourself. So now when COVID happened, yes, we're working from home, but I have this time to also, I'm like, I've always wanted to do this. Now I have time. Let me just, I'll work, but I'll also create some time to do stuff. And at that time, I'm not even working with the brands anyway. I'm like, let me just do these things because I can. I just create, this is a scenario, this is what, I do it. Then when I do it, I see, and then now for me, I've been always put 100%, do your own. And then I'm like, I want to add value in these spaces. I want to, because even in advertising, when you do advertising for any product, there are key things you need to do. Top of mind awareness, sustainability, and sales. So you're like, in everything I create, I don't need to sell you the product today or tomorrow. I just need to sell you the top of mind. I need you to know that this thing exists. And when you see it, you remember it. When you see me, you remember it. But to do that, remember, we're in an advert world where
very quick.
Things are very quick, and also so you just need to do things that are very top of the mind.
Yeah, I remember the Netflix one. That stayed in my mind for sure. And the House of the Dragon one.
You see, it's not like you're doing them. It's not that I'm purposely doing it to be top of mind, but I'm doing it because I want. Even when I get a brief today for content creation, to date I still asked for the entire document. I want to understand the brief from
top to
bottom to see am I missing anything. And also when you're studying, you're able to know, to get glimpses of interesting ideas. You're able to read, oh, this is how it started. I can create a story out of this. This is how it started. I can do this. So when, of course, now I stay, because I study a lot. Even when I get briefs, I'd spend a week studying the product and going through commercials. I'd go to all the commercials that have been done for this product since, 10 years back. I'd see what has been done, what has not been done, what stories can be told. I read documents, I read, I go online, look at, has this campaign been done anywhere? If it's been done, how has it been done? So is there a way we can tell it in a different way? Right. Is there a way we can not only tell it in a different way, but is there a way that you can connect to people? There's telling and there's connecting. You can tell anything, but does it connect?
Yeah.
And also, other than connection, what you want to do, you want to be able to tell people these things in a way that affiliates to them. Because if you create affinity towards a brand, people see it and smile.
Yeah.
And they don't need, again, I'm not in the interest of showing you, you must buy this.
Yeah.
But at least when you see it, you have a positive memory of it. And that positivity is able to kick in your mind. One day when you miss the product you go for, this thing has a positive impact in you. So it will be an easy pick, whether in a good way, mostly in a good way, not for lack of, there's lack of option, but now you're able to gear people towards now getting those things you've created an affinity for. So slowly by slowly now you start doing that. And even when I say when you create content, more often than not, like let's say, case example, you get 5,000 likes. It's not like all those 5,000, it's not a concert. It's not a cinema where you have those 5,000 people in the room or in the concert. Yeah, they're all not there. You're speaking to, how will I put it? You're speaking to 5,000 people.
Yeah.
You're speaking to the individuals.
You're speaking to one person and not 5,000 at once. Everyone, because you see, we consume content on our phones. It's not on screen where we'd sit here and watch like a commercial. For us, the digital content, everyone on their phone. Yes, I can show you, we can share over phone, but it's the recipient is the one phone, so it's one person, everyone. So you're, again, connecting to an individual.
I have a question. So you're in a very unique position where even you going through all these documents, you taking the 100% approach to content. I think it's because, one, your work ethic, which is obviously amazing, but two is because you've been on both sides of the coin. And I think sort of what I've seen in the content creation world is not many people have that that perspective. So if you were to sit in a room and there's an agency here and there's a content creator here, what are like some things you wish both knew about each other to make relationships better and to like progress the industry as a whole?
What they would know of each other?
Yeah, like what the agency knew about the creator and the creator knew.
If they knew, because each creator has their strengths, each creator has the way they want to do their own things. And as a creator, you need creative freedom. Of course, the agency is structured in a way to make the client's brief work out. Now there are two lockerheads. One, the agency is following the client's instructions. And they want things done the way the client has briefed. The creative one looks at the agency as, how will I put, someone who doesn't want me to express myself well. But now you see the agency is not at a position to fully compromise. Because now you see they're also being paid money. And most often lots of money. And they want you to, you are part of the process. And as a creative, you look at it, they come tell you, you must do it this way. For them, it's because they have been conditioned to want to please the client in a way that they won't lose the business one. They don't need to be in meetings, hundreds of meetings, trying to explain the creator did this because this is how they live. But as a creator, because you don't have that background, they approached me. This is how I do my stuff. But how they approached you is because of what you do. It's because of how you do your stuff. So it's now I find it compromising where you as a creative, you're able now to pick what you can from your own things and pick what the client wants. Marry the two. Because you'll never find a level ground where they'll let you go your own way to the last mile. And they also want you to do stuff that works for them. So if you're able now to understand this is what the client needs, these are the pinpoints. That's why I remember I told you ask for these things. And then this is what you need to do. So as a creative, this is what I'll put in. And from the client side, this is what I'll borrow. And if I'm able to take 3 out of 5 things, it's easy to pass. Instead of taking 1 and leaving 5. So when you're able now to take 1 out of 5, you see, it will go back to the drawing board. If you're able to take more than the less points, now that's easy now for it to pass. And then now when you're able to, again, offer value to people over time, they warm up and they're able to let you have, even before, when I started, of course, we had this fights, or rather small, where you they tell you, no, I'm like, I've done so much to get to this, but I understand. I'll complain about it, I'll do what, but I'll want to find a way where we can just make it go through. So when you're able to do it over time, and then they trust you and get the confidence, now you have your creative freedom. I'm sure there are brands you've worked with over time now, how you started and what you do now. There's no, Eli, change this. Eli, we need you to not say this. You're like, cool. Post, you see,
and you get it as well. You kind of you understand the language, and there's not many.
So now when you're able now to marry these two, and then trust, because you see, when we say partnership, a partnership involves you bringing on board yourself and the clients, bring on board what they want to be sold. So you'll be able to find a level ground, and work on it, improve over time. Because when you start campaigns, how you start it and how you do it 2 months later, it's very different. Because one thing about advertising in any way, digital, on screen, billboard screens, the thing is, the more you know about a product, the easier it is for you to sell or communicate. So the more you know about a product is because now you do it, like, say, a period of time. So when you're doing it over a period of time, you're able to know, in month 1, I know it just does AB, but in month 5, it does A to J. And it's one product. It's not changed. And then how do you able to keep it fresh? Because over time, it's sometimes it can be hard selling one product for half a year. You're like, it's the same product in January and in February and up to July. It's the same thing. But the same role, it's like, what I need to do is, we have 365 days a year. So for me, I would say I need to find 365 ways to sell it. The same thing, find 365 ways to showcase it in unique ways. Today you can showcase it doing one thing. Tomorrow it can be another. But at the core of it all, the product remains visible. Because also the other thing is, because the client is putting it money, they want their
result, their own money, bang for their buck.
So as a creator, when you're more visible than it, that's where they find
value.
No, they feel like you're over.
Because it's not about the product, it's about the creator.
Because now the thing is, there are 2 things. There's brand placement. When we put this here and just us talking, it's not about this. What about it? It's more about what we're talking about. It can easily disappear in the conversation. But if you're able now to focus on it as a subject, remember when you're studying in school, there's a subject in everything. So if you're able to put a brand as a subject and now work around it and make it shine, and if you're able to make it shine and you shine, you see, now that's a marriage. It's a partner. It's like now that partnership where you are able now to showcase, like, my brand has been seen, and remember now also in the long run, you're also doing stuff for you yourself. Also trying to build you.
That's very valuable information. I think creators needed to hear.
So thank you, Kimanzi. I think personally, the perspective that you have, first of all, I'm mind blown. I really didn't expect you to come and give us a narration from kindergarten. That's not related.
So good.
Yeah, it's not like related to the creative industry at all, but somehow has tied back into it. I don't know. It's like,
there was a thread though, no? There was a thread
everything's connected.
Everything's connected.
What story is from Machakos for sure. It was like a movie.
It was a whole movie. I had a great time.
I was like watching you from being a kid, watching you, and I do know your brother personally, climbing trees. And I was like, my guy, who you've become today makes so much sense. And it was so easy for us to see So shout out to teacher Maggie, first of all,
Yeah.
for being able to see who you are and who you've become. And shout out to you and what you've been doing. And thank you so much for giving us your time. We've learned a lot. I hope if you're interested in joining the creative industry, whatever field you're in or whatever place you're in life where you're thinking the creative industry might not work out for you, I hope that Kimanzi has given you the confidence you need. So thank you so much, my guy.
Yeah, thanks for your time, man. Thanks. And thanks for the narration. I think it's going to be one of those episodes you just want to watch back and listen to the story again. It's really, really fascinating.
It was.
The idea was to know the man behind the content. I think we've done that today.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Thanks for your time, guys.
I like it.
Yeah, thanks. I hope you've had fun.
Yeah, for sure. Have I not been talking?
That is the point of Mantalk. So
all of Kimanzi's links will be down below if you want to go and follow some of the amazing content that he makes. Thank you for coming back for another week of Mantalk.ke. Stay safe and we'll see you soon.
We hope you enjoy this podcast
half as much
as we enjoyed making it.
Because we had a ball.
Bye-bye.
Boom.